This is Wolf Steadman at the local ceiling. Running one of the world's biggest open AI models used to mean a 1/4 terabyte Mac, or a stack of GPUs. Last week, someone did it with about 25 gigs of RAM. Laptop-class memory, not a workstation. We did not believe that number, so we tested it ourselves. Start with what this model is. Z.ai, I released GLM-5.2 under an MIT license. 744 billion total parameters. Roughly 40 billion active on any given token through its mixture of experts' design, and a full 1 million token context window. The problem was always the hardware floor. Running it at home meant a Mac with a 1/4 terabyte of unified memory, or a GPU rig backed by 256 gigabytes of system RAM. That was the floor. The number every serious write-up and demo landed on: enthusiast money, workstation money. Then, just before we filmed this video, someone posted a GitHub repo that throws that floor out the window. Here's the trick, and it's a genuinely different idea, not just a smaller quantization. GLM-5.2 is a mixture of experts model. Most of those 744 billion parameters are organized into a large pool of expert subnetworks, and only a handful fire on any single token. Colibrì, the engine behind this, keeps only the parts every token needs, the dense layers, attention, and shared experts, compressed to 4-bit and held resident in RAM. That's about 10 gigabytes. Everything else, the other roughly 370 gigabytes of expert weights, stays on a local NVMe drive and gets pulled in through the operating system's page cache on demand, 1 token at a time. The project is explicit that this has to be a fast local drive, not a network share. That's the collapse, not a smaller model. The same 744 billion parameter model, just mostly living on a hard drive instead of memory. This is not a random blog post. The creator posted it to Hacker News as a show HN, getting GLM 5.2 running on my slow computer, and it did what show HN posts almost never do. It went to the top of the front page. By the time we're recording this, it has picked up independent coverage too. Gigazine covered it, and half a dozen other outlets have written it up in the days since. One comment on that thread gets at why it landed. This is the hacker spirit. Not "this is fast," not "this is production ready." Just someone did the thing everyone assumed needed a data center, because they wanted to see if they could. Now, the number attached to every headline about this: 0.1 tokens per second. On the developer's own 12-core, 25-gig machine, with an empty cache, that's the baseline he reported. 0.1 tokens a second is roughly 1 word every 10 seconds. A single paragraph could take 10 minutes. That is not a typo, and it is not being hidden. The author says it himself, on the record. It gets better with better hardware. Community benchmarks on Apple's M5 Max, fast unified memory, fast SSD, report around 1 token a second, and the project's own latest numbers push just past 2. Still not fast, still not something you'd chat with, but an order of magnitude off the worst case. Why so slow at the floor? A single cold token, one whose experts are not already cached, can mean reading around 11 gigabytes off disk across the model's layers before it even produces that token. The engine does get faster as it runs. It learns which experts your usage actually routes to, and starts pinning the hot ones, but that first mile is brutal. Before we run our own number, let's deal with the obvious objection, because it's a fair one. Why not just use a quantized GGUF through llama.cpp? People are already getting real speed out of GLM 5.2. They are. Unsloth's dynamic 2-bit quantization of this same model gets you somewhere around 3 to 9 tokens a second on consumer class setups, 30 to well over 100 times faster than Colibri's cold baseline. Here's the part that does not make the headline though. That faster path needs roughly a quarter terabyte of RAM, and some setups pair it with a 24GB GPU on top of that. That's the same workstation class floor GLM-5.2 has always had. Colibrì is not competing with that on speed, it's competing with it on what you need to already own to start. One more honest note, Colibrì does ship an experimental CUDA backend now. It does not fix the weight. The expert weights still stream off disk through the CPU path, so you're bound by your drive and your PCIe bus, not your graphics card. A GPU makes the parts that were already fast a little faster. It does nothing for the part that's slow. So here's what we actually did. Instead of just repeating someone else's number, we do not own a 32 gig laptop. What we own is a server. We pointed one of our 2 Dell PowerEdge R730s, dual Xeon processors, 128 gigabytes of RAM, weights parked on a SATA SSD mirror at the download. The pre-converted int4 weights the author posted to Hugging Face, about 370 gigabytes. Then we captured 2 numbers, not one, because quoting only the flattering one is exactly how these stories get oversold. First, a cold run. Empty cache. First prompt of the session, worst case. Second, a warm run, after the engine had a chance to cache the experts it actually uses, the best case you'd realistically see in a real session. Cold. First prompt of the session, engine at first install state. Our number came out to 0.02 tokens per second, 11 tokens, 10.5 minutes. For what is the capital of Wyoming? It got it right, Cheyenne, but you could have looked it up by mail. Warm, once the cache filled in, our best steady state number was 0.06, and across our full 12 run suite, nothing beat it. That's on a SATA SSD mirror, around 700 megabytes a second. Not NVMe. Keep that number in mind. We also swept the engine's RAM budget from 8 gigabytes up to 44. It made no measurable difference. The expert cache hit rate topped out around a third, meaning 2/3 of every token's expert still came off the disk, no matter how much memory headroom we gave it. That's our number, on our hardware, not the author's, not a press write-ups. Fair question. Is the slow number Colibrì's fault or the disk's? So we ran the control experiment. Same model, same 4-bit weight class, same server. But through stock llama.cpp, current as of the day we filmed, no custom patches, with our Tesla V100 handling attention and the expert streaming off a second plane SATA SSD in the same box. Cold first question of the session. It spent 40 minutes on a 1-sentence answer, and still was not finished when we stopped the recording. Same wall Colibrì hit. The wall was never the engine. It's 365 gigabytes of experts behind a SATA cable. Ask the identical question again. Warm? Just under 5 minutes, start to finish. Load? Prompt. Answer. When the experts your question needs are already cached in RAM, the GPU route flies. The moment a single token routes somewhere new, we measured it directly, 20 to 30 seconds for 1 token. Even warm. So the author's 0.1 tokens a second on NVMe, believable. On SATA, server or laptop, GPU or no GPU, cold runs land below it on both engines, and the only thing that beats it is asking a question the cache has already seen. So does the floor collapse? Yes, and no. Yes, the RAM requirement really did fall off a cliff. A 744 billion parameter model that needed a quarter terabyte of memory can now run Resident Light on a fraction of that if you're willing to let it read from disk instead. That's a genuinely new technique. Disk streamed expert offload, not a repeat of anything we've covered before. No, collapse does not mean free. You trade RAM for time, and depending on your cache state, that trade can be brutal. 370 gigabytes has to live somewhere fast, or the whole idea falls apart. We threw a GPU at it. The disk did not care. A Tesla V100 made the fast parts faster and did nothing for the slow ones. The constraint was never compute, it's I/O. This is not a chat replacement. It's proof that the wall everyone assumed was there. Memory was softer than we thought. The new wall is patience and disk speed. If you're chasing tokens per second today, the GGUF route is still faster. If you're chasing, can this even run on what I already own? Colibrì just moved that answer from no toward technically yes. We're going to keep watching this story. If Z.ai or anyone else ships a quantization that changes this math, we'll cover the new numbers when they exist, not before. Same with hardware. If you want to see this exact cold versus warm test repeated on true laptop class hardware, tell us in the comments. That's what decides what we test next. Subscribe if you want the tested tier numbers as they land, not the hype tier headlines. For the local ceiling, I'm Wolf Stedman.